I am Coach Cameron, and I see a whole army of little soccer warriors here in defiance of out-of-control coaches and parents. You've come to fight as free players, and free players you are. What will you do without freedom? Will you fight?
No. Not against them. They're too scary. They scream at me repeatedly, and if I don't comply, they will take me out of the game. And I'll be embarrassed and ashamed. So will I fight? No. There's too many. I can't fight. I don't want to be subbed off. I want to play. So I'll do what they say.
I fight, and you may be subbed. Comply, and you'll stay on the field, at least for a while. And retired many years from now. Would you be willing to trade all the games from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell the parents and coaches, shut up and no more, this is our game, not yours, and to tell them that they may take our game, but they'll never take our freedom.
Welcome to the Coach Cameron Soccer Podcast, episode 642. In studio with me, I have the great, the one and only Mark Passiatore. How you doing?
Fine, thank you. How about you, David?
I'm very good. We have so much to talk about. I'm so excited about having you here.
Thank you.
We've went from enemies for moments to good friends, drinking buddies. Except I don't drink, but. Yeah, I'm excited for all the conversation we're about to have, and everyone watching right now, if you have any questions that you would like to ask the great Mark Passiatore, the greatest official of all time, coming from Arizona, and we'll get to that shortly. Please comment, and we'll try to get to your comments one at a time. I know there's a lot of people out there that have some specific questions, and maybe we can answer those for you. Also with us, we have IT Ryan. How you doing, Ryan?
Doing good.
That's awesome, Ryan. I'm glad you made it out from your work commitments. But the only work commitment that matters is this one right here.
Yeah, the one I'm not getting paid for.
Yes. And we also, no Deadpool, as far as I know. And Deadpool, if you're watching, you're more than welcome to come join the podcast. We'd love to have you. And El Rojo is not with us. He's at the Food City tournament watching his buddy play. Yeah, it's Food City. But please comment, like, and subscribe our YouTube channel. Help us grow this station so we can get you all the information you're needing. So speaking of information, we have to do our paid promotion. What is our thing with Medulla?
Our merch commercial?
Yeah.
All right.
Or should we not?
We can.
Why not?
All right, do it.
I don't see any reason not to.
This episode is brought to you by CoachCameron.com, a place where you can get all your merchandise. Go to CoachCameron.com, click on the store, and buy the most expensive t-shirt you've ever bought, or the most expensive mug you've ever bought. You know why? Because I'm featured on it. I'm like the Nike symbol. Once you put me on it, it's going to cost twice of the value. But more importantly, you're contributing to a wonderful podcast. You will sustain this podcast if you make... I'm sorry, Coach Cam. I can't do this anymore.
Yes, you can, Medulla.
You're overpriced.
I'm not overpriced.
It's disgusting how much you're...
It's not disgusting. It's wonderful. Buy stuff if you would like to. We've sold many products, believe it or not, because people support this podcast. Support this podcast. And if you buy a t-shirt, I'll give it to the great Mark Passiatore.
Thank you very much.
There you go. So we've had so many questions about the handball rule. I don't know the handball rule, but Mark knows the handball rule, and he's going to educate us, and we're going to have a discussion what the handball rules. Do you know the handball rule? If you know the handball rule, or you think we're wrong, or we're getting misguided with whatever we're saying, comment. Let us know what your thoughts on the matter is. What is the handball rule? I don't know. We had a handball last night in Tucson, but it wasn't a handball. And I was arguing with others. I'm like, no, it wasn't a handball.
Did that come off the body or the arm or
it was crossed in? The arms were in
natural position?
Natural position and hit the hand, but
okay.
I'm assuming it wasn't. It's just we have no VAR at my level, so I don't know. But this whole episode is going to be covered only on Know Your Rules.
Okay.
So play the overlay.
Learn your rules. You better learn your rules. If you don't, you'll be eaten in your sleep. Learn your rules. You better learn your rules. If you don't, you'll be eaten.
All right, Know Your Rules. That's all we're going to talk about is Know Your Rules, kind of. But first, let's get to know Mark Passiatore a little bit. How long have you officiated, Mark?
37 years.
37 years.
Yes.
How long did you officiate in Arizona?
From 1984 until 2005. I had to go back to Long Island because my son Anthony got deathly sick, and we had to move him back till 2016. That's when I came back here.
When you had all that mold in your house.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember that. I remember you telling us that.
Yeah.
You've reffed a lot of my games from youth, college, and professional.
Right.
And indoor.
Right. At the Sand Shark level, yes.
Yeah.
That was the best time.
Oh, that was so fun.
Yeah, that was.
Hey, how many cards do you think you've given me?
Well, I'll just remember the one in '94. That was that championship game.
In
If I'm not
Prescott.
yes, if I wasn't mistaken. Yeah, I think it was a 5-0 game, and I think you just decided to take the guy out from behind.
Yes. If we weren't going to win, I was going to take someone's ankles with me. So, yeah, I chopped him down.
Yes.
And I remember the look on your face. You just gave that grin. I'm like you gave me no choice.
Yes, right. My hands were tied, Mr. Dave.
I didn't argue it. I just got on the bus and just sat there and waited for the game to be completed. But we got him the next year, so I was happy about that.
Wonderful.
So you've given me yellows, obviously. I don't know how many reds. Maybe 1, 2. Have you ever given me a blue card?
In the indoor? No, I don't think so.
No?
No, I can't remember. Like I told you, like we talked before, Dave, referees, once they leave a pitch or a field, they try not to remember or analyze the game at all. They just forget it and they walk away from it. So I can't tell you if I gave you a blue card during the Sand Sharks at all.
I'm sorry. Is a blue card an actual thing?
Yes, it's a 2-minute penalty.
Yeah.
2-minute
Right.
penalty?
Oh, it's almost like a hockey penalty, like, a boarding or something like that.
Yeah.
They get 2 minutes. They have to sit in the penalty box.
Yeah, you sit in the box and your team has to play short.
Right.
Short?
Like down one player.
Oh.
So your team's punished and you just stay in the box until the 2-minute finishes. Then you sprint on the field to even up the numbers.
Unless there's a goal
Interesting.
scored. If there's a goal scored, then you come back in.
Oh,
Right.
well, yeah. That's the fullness of the penalty.
Right.
Is if that happens. Yeah.
Sounds very capture the flag.
She doesn't know anything about my playing career. I mean, she knows a little bit, but she's like,
I didn't know what the Sand Sharks were.
Oh yeah, she didn't know who the Sand Sharks were. I'm like, what? I'm like,
Well, maybe if you talked about it more.
I wear the jersey right here.
Yeah.
You've never worn that jersey.
I've worn this.
I bet you it doesn't even fit you.
It does fit me.
Oh, I bet
Has
you it
my-
does.
Has my name and everything.
Yeah, that was some good times.
does
Yes.
fit.
There you go. Try it on. Let's see it.
I've lost a lot of weight. Yeah.
You lost a lot of weight in like the course of 6 months?
There you go.
Still fits.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Now, it was extremely baggy when I wore it when I was a rookie, but we had big crowds.
Yes, close to 6,000 to 10,000 people
Yeah.
in the
Wow.
American West Arena. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
That was some fun times. Absolutely.
That was a blast.
Yes.
We had the coolest intro music done.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And we had this little shark, the shark on like a little four-wheeler, and it just like would go all the way.
Like a real shark?
Well, no.
Oh, I was thinking you
Like
had
a
like some
robotic.
Ace Ventura stuff going on.
Yeah, like a robotic
Like a little
shark.
dolphin.
Yeah, it was robotic
Robotic
on
shark.
wheels.
Yeah.
Katy
But
Perry
those
sharks.
were the fun days. That was a blast. And I still to this day I talk to all the sand sharks. I would talk to Jason Vanacore, Rick and Randy Soderman,
Sure.
Kevin Barry. I mean, just frequently I'm talking to them. They're still good friends of mine. But back to you.
Sure.
Biggest game you've ever officiated?
Was the 99 World Cup women's when they came over here against Australia with Scotty Whalen. I was an AR. That was my biggest game. And then the other big game was the Mexico-Yugoslavia game in
Bingo Ballpark.
Right.
I was there.
Right. I was the AR on that one.
Shut up.
Oh, yeah, that was wonderful.
It was dangerous, that game, because remember the Yugoslavian fans, they were all in one little section and they were winning and everyone's throwing beer at them. I took my father-in-law to that game and you couldn't get in. They had no idea about the Hispanic community.
No, there was close to 60,000 people there. Yeah, I remember
They
that,
didn't
yeah.
get in till halftime.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
It was so backed up. And they all came to buy tickets at the game because they were paying cash. Well, we got ours ahead of time, so we got in, but it was packed.
Yes.
So the people hosting the event, they're like, we only pre-sold like 1,000 tickets. They all came to buy tickets it was packed. But yeah, it was like, we left early because we got scared when Yugoslavia went up 2-0. And the bear was, and when they're throwing bear, it was like
All over? I don't know. I wasn't.
$100,000 in beer being tossed.
Wow.
All over the place. But it was scary because I had my daughter Dakota there, and that was a long time ago. What year was that? That was a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't tell you.
But that was a fun game.
Yes, it was.
For what we could stay for. But so you ref that game.
Yes,
What
I
other
also
ones?
did a couple championships of Lamar Cup final.
Okay.
One up in Sacramento. I did a couple of under 20 World Cup qualifiers.
Where?
Here in Phoenix, almost like friendlies between Mexico and also in Houston. I also did a World Cup qualifier up in Houston with a friendly between Mexico and Canada. I was just the fourth official on those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, that was, and of course you did the NCAA. You've
Right.
You've
I
been
did a
all
couple
over
of
the place.
round 1, 2, and 3s
Yeah.
back then, and a couple championship games of JCs and
Yeah.
back in New York. I did a Division II, close to a Final Four. I did the quarterfinals and was asked to go to the Final Four, and then it moved down to Virginia or North Carolina. And
Yeah.
I couldn't go. So
Right. A friend of ours, Alan Chapman.
sure, excellent.
You were part of the process of helping him progress in the game.
Yes,
So what was your relationship with Alan Chapman?
Well, Alan, he was the amateur, ball player, and we had many.
he has to be the worst defender of
He was brutal.
towards officials.
Yes, he was.
He was so bad.
But he did apologize and to all of us when he became an official in the MLS and when he was moving up the ranks. And I said, I hope that you go further than the most referees in our community. Him and Corey Rockwell are the top referees in Arizona.
Yeah.
Besides Scotty Whalen and a couple others that were before him. Right.
So, a funny story about Alan Chapman. Other than we look alike,
Yes.
which does not help. So Alan Chapman, Ryan, is. I played with him, and we look alike, especially when we're shaved heads. And he abused referees. He got so many red cards from just
all of us, all the referees.
so bad.
Right.
And everyone knew it. a lot of officials got confused. Like when he disappeared, they think I was him.
Oh,
And I would get like destroyed, with bad calls and stuff, according to my brain. But because I look like Alan.
Right. So like the same thing that happens to me anytime there's another ginger girl in the same vicinity.
Yes, I would say so. But Alan Chapman, his first referee course he ever took was held by me at Palm Valley Soccer League.
wow.
At Palm Valley Elementary. And I remember he was taking the class, and I was just doing it to do it. He was like taking it very serious. He got like a perfect score on
I
everything.
think he got 100 on it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
He took it very serious, and he
Yeah.
told me. I remember he told me, he goes, "I'm gonna take this really. I'm gonna advance to the highest level I can and change the game in some capacity or whatever." I'm like, "You're crazy." I'm like, "What are you talking? Why do you want to be an official? You're nuts." And now he's
Now look
flipping
what-
MLS referee of the year.
Twice, yeah, 2 years. Yeah, absolutely. One of the best I've seen as far as controlling and managing a game. Yep.
Yeah, and it's crazy to how things go full circle and 180 changes, and
Yeah, very much so.
and you had a big influence on helping him advance.
Thank you.
And I had Alan on a podcast.
Couple months ago.
I don't know. COVID at time is weird. I don't know. It was during COVID, maybe August last year. But yeah, I'll have him on again. It was more of an audio. I want to have him.
I think you should get him in person.
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah, that would be
I plan
fun.
on it. So, couple questions.
Sure.
So we kind of know who the great Mark Passiatore is. Question number one, before we get to handball, is remember blue card in the AIA when they used to have a blue card?
That was a soft yellow back then.
Wasn't it? No, it was how I understood it, because I got it, was it was two yellow. When you got two yellows, it was supposed to be a red, but it became a blue. So you're out that game. Your team has to play short, I think, but you could play the next game.
That's correct. I thought right.
I like that.
You think they should bring that back into play or into the game again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Only if, yellows that were like inadvertent, like
The double yellow? you
yeah,
mean?
the double yellow. I mean, if it's not, I think double yellows should be pushed to that.
You think just in high school or college or at the professional level, Dave?
All levels.
All levels? You like the blue card?
At least give an opportunity for players to be able to not have to sit the next game. Especially, sometimes yellows are given, a persistent infringement, which caused by others, and you just happen to be the next foul, or I don't know. I think, punishing some players to miss the next game over.
Or a dissent call?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I was king of dissent.
Oh, that has gone too much in the game of soccer still today, is the dissent of players towards refereeing.
There's dissent nonstop.
Oh, absolutely.
But I was telling you earlier, so I'm gonna tell this one story of what happened to me the other day yesterday morning. I'm watching my son play, and there's a female referee, AR, and I was on the parent side, on the same side of the opposing team of my son's team, who was on the other side, and I was sitting on that side because it was closer to my car, and it was hot, so I wanted to hurry up and get into the AC. Anyways, this AR, this female referee, she was like maybe 17 years old. She could have been a little older, I couldn't tell, but she was young, and she made a gutsy call of a foul in the box, which was a PK, and she stood her ground, and immediately she was being attacked by the sideline, the coach, everything. But she held her ground. She stuck with the call, and then Jack's team got a PK, made it 3-1. Game was pretty much over.
Right.
And the coach kept staring her down, like, how dare you do that to my team, and kind of thing, and trying to intimidate her. And he wouldn't let it go, and he kept talking to her, and I had enough. I'm like, I'm protecting this young lady. I don't care what sex she was, male, female, old man. I don't know. I'm sick of watching people try to manipulate the referees from doing their job, making a judgment call, and and I've done it, not to kids, but I've
To adult, to referees,
but
right?
still, it
Right.
shouldn't happen. And every time I do it, I think it's inappropriate and should be happening. But I wanted to defend her, so I told the coach, I'm like, stop, focus on the game, focus on your kids, leave her alone. And he started yelling at me in Spanish, and I don't know any Spanish, but then it got a little heated. I kept telling him, just shut up, just shut up, just shut up,
Sure.
And so all his direction was on me. He got up, people had to hold him back, and then 2 other parents wanted to fight me, and it was nuts. And I stood my ground as a nut job because it was bad. And luckily we have video of it. Not today. We'll have it. We'll have it next week.
Sure.
We have video of it, and Francisco said he'll try to get it to me. He was going to try. So I sent him that Yoda meme. Yeah, what's that Yoda saying?
There is no try, only do.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, I sent him that meme. And of course, I don't get it. So hopefully I can get it for next week so I can show you how I almost got murdered by a whole Hispanic team.
Well, I think, David, again, that comes back with we talked about how the coaches and the parents are just berating us as officials. We talked about that often enough to maybe the center referee needed to do something to that coach or take care of the situation in a different manner.
It may be, but here's the thing. Yeah. It was like 2 months ago. My son's playing in a scrimmage with referees, and the other team was so upset at the center referee. They attacked him like we had to protect him from getting beat up.
Wow.
Over a scrimmage.
Yeah, really. There's no meaning to it. Yeah.
Where the people are losing their minds. And before we get into all that craziness of soccer,
sure.
Let's talk about the handball rule, because I was confused. I did that Grand Canyon thing. I was so sure the Grand Canyon game that the Washington player that kicked the ball into his own hand, and I swore that was a handball.
Right, but remember, it came off that came off his body.
Mm-hmm.
And in the law 12 says if it comes off a body part and hits the arm, it is not a handball.
Yeah.
Okay, he didn't make himself bigger. If he makes himself bigger by raising his arm, okay, then he made himself bigger. But because it bounced off, it wasn't really an intent to touch or handle the ball.
And that's what I said, kind of.
Oh, really, Ryan? Nice.
Well, she was saying that's a dumb rule. That it shouldn't be a handball. And yes, you were right. And I was wrong. I admitted guilt because I got attacked by a lot of referees. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, I'm sorry. And one of the referees subscribed to my channel. I'm subscribing because you're willing to admit you're wrong. I'm like, awesome. So I was wrong. And it happened again last night.
Same kind of scenario?
Natural position. It did hit the hand, but I think it went off like his stomach and then hit the hand.
Right.
And, no call. And of course, my sideline was upset, and then we, had to deal with it. But there's a lot of confusion, and people don't know the rules. I don't know the rules. And so many people are commenting during the live session last week or the week before, thinking it was a handball. They bet anything. And it's not, according to those rules.
Right. According to the rule, Law 12, on the misconducts, fouls and misconducts, it says if it comes off a body part, okay?
When did that rule come in effect?
Just recently.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Because, before that, it was what?
It was in the opinion of the official on a handball, and they changed the wording. Okay, now it's mandatory. Anytime that it hit a hand, it would be a handball.
Right.
And then they just changed it again. So, again, it constantly changes on that law 12, on a handball. Now, if it hits the hand, why shouldn't it be a handball, Dave? Right? That's what people think.
Right.
Right? Now, make yourself bigger. That means you made yourself bigger. Your hand is not in a natural position. To me, that's a handball.
So currently it does have a lot to do with the intent.
Yes,
right.
The intent and deliberate. Those are the words that they use in Law 12.
Yep, that's what Gilberto Gomez just commented, that the intent is what has a lot to do with it. And that makes sense to me. That's why I was really against the handball for that one dude you were talking about, because you thought that was an unnatural position. But to me, I didn't think that there was any way that he's like, this is going to look kind of right and kind of wrong, and I'm going to hit the ball with my hand. Like, I didn't see any intent in it.
Right, exactly. And that's what the wording in the Law 12 says, intent. Okay, now again, it's going to come the opinion or the knowledge of the official. What is his law application? What's his knowledge? What's his positioning? Where he is on the field? And how he applies that law. Okay? Now, some might, others may not.
And that's where we'll get
right. There's where so to me
problems.
is right. The problem is the inconsistency, Dave, of the play of a handball. Okay, some top referees that we see in championship league games, or MLS games, or college games in high school. There's so much inconsistencies of the handball because again of the law.
so. Now you know. Brand new rule. It may appear to be handball, but it
Might not.
might not be.
Right.
So be careful before you scream crazy like I do, and a lot of
Especially
others.
at an official who waves it off because again he sees it in a different angle also.
Yeah.
Remember, the angles of soccer are completely different than you're going to see it on the sideline or as a parent.
So I'm actually going to stage an event
Okay.
on my podcast where I'm going to get these two big old scaffolds on each side of the fields, and I'm going to set up referees to call the game from there with loudspeakers. Just a simulation. We're gonna play a game and have them call the fouls from there. See if they have a better vantage point. Offsides, everything.
Wow, I like that. Can I be that ref?
Yeah, absolutely. And we just want to see what it's like and see if the vantage point is good or not. Because when you're in the stands, you're elevated and you see it completely different. Well, maybe you'll see it the same way they do now.
Well, David, you know what I always say? I think every coach, every player, and some parents should go and officiate a soccer game to see what the art of soccer officiating is all about.
It's all about guts.
Yes, having gunners. I
Oh
call
my
it gunners.
God, yeah.
Yeah, having the guts to make that decision in the first or last minute or the 79th minute or the 80th minute of a game, because you're going to make the outcome. You're making the outcome anyway. If you don't make the call or you make the call, you're still making the outcome of a soccer game sometimes.
I can to this day. I've reffed a lot of games as a kid because I needed the money, and I remember I was at reffing a game. It went to penalty kicks. It was a championship game, and it was back when the keeper couldn't step off the line, so they had to have their feet on the line.
Yeah, now it's just one.
Yeah, I kept waving my flag up, and it was a U19 game, and I was like maybe 15. And this guy wanted to murder me. And I remember I'm like, and he's getting back in line. Am I on the line? Just staring me down. I'm like, fine, I'm not going to raise my flag anymore. I just want out of here. But it was the intimidation that these referees, especially kids.
Seriously, I can't believe how many teenagers ref games. I could never do it.
Right. Well, that's one of my notes that I have here, that the young referees today are strictly are afraid to make some really hard decisions, Dave, like the 1 or the 2 or the 3 year experienced referees, because of what's the coach, the parents, the players are going to say to them. So some of them are extremely afraid. And I talked to a lot of them during the President's Cup games and the State Cup. I'm afraid. What are you afraid of? To make a decision? Well, I'm afraid of that coach and that coach telling me that I'm wrong. It's a decision, Dave.
It's bad. And
why did it get like that? Can we find out why?
Well,
it's gone that way. That
because everyone's focus winning is so important
Right.
versus development.
Yes.
And that's a big problem. And for all you coaches and parents out there that yell at these poor referees, I don't care about age. If it's youth soccer and you're yelling at the referee so you could get a call that you feel that's justified for you, you're bored. You're slowly teetering on evil. Evil. It is, because you're missing the whole point. I tell my kids, I tell Jack, anytime Jack complains about a player, a coach, or a referee, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, so what's the solution? What could you have done differently? How do you deal with that? Focus on the things you have to prepare for. Having a bad call from an official in youth soccer is development. How do you deal with it?
And it's commonplace.
I got to wait for mom or dad to interject. What the freak are you doing?
No. But you have a team has 7 chances to score each half. That's the statistics of a soccer game. Each game, 7 opportunities to score goals in each half.
That's why goal scorers make all the money.
That's good. Good point.
It's and I always say it, and not everyone agrees with me. I fight with a lot of coaches, especially assistant coaches of mine, about it's a player's game. It's not a coach's game. And I got these coaches who are like, oh, I can motivate them to victory. I mean, shut the freak up. Shut up. You can recruit to win because players win.
Yes.
It's recruiting.
Yes.
If you want to do development, you put in the time, you put in the work. The problem is we need the entire organization, from players, coaches, parents, officials, all in the same mindset of why are we doing this?
Well, to develop your kid to be a better ball player and have better character, because soccer's going to end, and they're going to have to go out and get a real job. Because if you got 1,000 kids trying out for a team, only 100 is going to make it. So you're going to have to fall back on something else, Dave. It's just not soccer.
I just wish the mindset was more of.
I like to educate. That's what I really like to do. I really like to educate the parents, coaches, players about Law 1 to Law 17. That's what I like to do.
They need to know it.
Yes, they do.
Because just like me, not knowing the handball rule, and I've never left the game. I'm in the game, and I don't know the rules. The fact that we're not constantly trying to update and learn and teach and help and having parents to know the laws, that they can help the coach. It's a group effort.
Yes, it is.
That knowledge is, and isn't that why the world's going crazy right now? It's because everyone has different information.
True.
So they argue.
Also, different opinions.
Yeah.
About everything, about what's going on with the world today, with the COVID, and now mask, this mask, we're in
triple mask.
Yeah.
3 of them.
Now that you're vaccinated, you don't need a mask.
Yeah.
Except that you do.
And just whatever. But there's a lot of confusion, and a lot of it's created from the lack of knowledge.
Yes.
And if everyone was working towards that, at least have a little bit of understanding of there's a lot of information. Like you were talking about the rules from high school.
High school, right? High school has their own rules. College has their own rules, and FIFA has their own rules. Okay, now like the goal kick. Okay, now it can be played in the penalty area. Well, in high school they couldn't do it until this year. Right. So they were always 1 year behind. So there's the confusion sometimes. And same thing with college. They didn't use that law application until this year. So that's where the confusion comes in. So to me, soccer should all have the same laws year after year.
Yeah.
Well,
across the board. So
right.
let me ask, the handball rule that just came in, is AIA adapting that right now for this next year, or is it going to take a year?
Well, you're talking about the shoulder, right? Remember we talked about that shoulder up in here, up to this area, is not a handball anymore.
It's not a handball now.
No. Now, I can put my shoulder onto the ball, which is not a handball. FIFA just came along with saying this is okay, right up to this area. So if it hits my elbow, that's a handball.
Right.
But if it hits my shoulder, part of my shoulder and part of my socket up here, that's not a handball. I don't know if AIA is going to come out with that or college level, but again, I looked at all the laws, and all laws say, again, Law 12, and all 3 books say the same thing: intent, deliberate, propelling, natural position. Okay. Also talks about accidental. That's another thing. What's accidental?
Yeah.
What's an accidental? Like what? It bounces off 3 legs and hits my arm. That's accidental. The ping pong kind of game.
My bad touch is accidental.
Yeah. Right, Dave. Right. That's accidental. It hits my arm.
So it's a lot of confusion.
Yes.
So
yes, it is.
Yeah. So parents, coaches, just have a little understanding. There's a lot of confusion.
Have some
There's
patience to the game.
Yes.
Also, I mean, parents, they get all uptight about my son or my daughter. The game itself. To me, it's just a game. Okay, win or lose. To me, it's all about the player's character.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it, Dave.
And the players I want playing for my college, if I'm fortunate enough to have, is the ones that can deal with adversity from a perceived bad call and get back to work, get organized, focus on the task at hand. Right. That's rare.
Sure it is.
To be able to, versus like my son Jack was complaining to the ref a lot.
And the ball was already in play. Right?
I wanted to murder him, but I let it happen. I just kind of marked how many times he would do it, and then I called him out on the show. And
wait, to the ref directly, like he'd walk up and complain about it.
Oh, he would. He argues with refs, but the other thing is when he doesn't or he makes a mistake, he doesn't work hard to go get it. That kind of thing. Remember?
Right, I remember that.
Yeah, so I would mark it down. I'm like 7 times. I'm like, this is embarrassing.
Right.
But anyways, he stopped because he'd see me with my little paper and be like, "Gotcha."
His new punishment is that I'll be talked about on the podcast.
Yeah, I'll
Do
out you.
Stupid, you're on here.
I'll out you. And if you have any questions for the great referee Passiatore,
thank you.
Who also we would want to know, has he ever given you a red card? What was it for? Was it deserved? Let us know.
Yes, please, because I was over at John Irwin's house, and there was a lot of soccer.
Phoenix College alum.
Yeah, and there was a lot of soccer players that I gave them yellow cards to. And
is this true? Someone commented saying, "What color do you want?" You would
Oh yeah, sometimes I used to switch my cards, Dave. I used to put my right up here.
Oh, instead of your back pocket?
Yeah, instead of I always kept it up in my left hand. I said, do you really need this card? Because this is the card that you're going to receive. So, I still don't remember, Dave, but I'm still going to give you this one today. This card, okay?
That's a perfect. Give me that red card. I want the picture.
There you go. That was great, Dave.
Camera okay?
Yeah, that was.
Camera good?
It's fine.
Okay.
Thanks, Willie.
I heard.
Yes.
And I also believed and spread rumors of it that you were able to take a red card and do that, and it would pop out of your hand like a magician.
No.
Never.
No. But there was
I've heard.
There was one game that I pulled it out. I think it was during the Yavapai Glendale game, where I took it out of my pocket and ran down the field as I was running, and I passed this play, and I said, "You're going to get this card when I come back."
And
after the play was over, I gave him the yellow card.
Okay. There you go.
And someone goes, "You can't be doing that, Pass."
Why
I
not?
said, "Why not?" So
I heard that you were able to shake it out like a magician.
No, I used to come out real quick on my reds and yellows.
Maybe
real quick.
maybe it was the flip of the wrist, like you pulled it out so fast and it just came out, and people were like, "He's a magician."
Thanks.
That rumor spread all over that you were able to like make it pop out of your hand. Maybe it's just from practice. Do you stand in front of the mirror like this, like a guy like a Western movie, like boom,
boom? No, no, it just came out natural. Yeah. You know what it is, David? I read the law so fine about the serious foul play and violent conduct, and being a phys ed teacher, or even a soccer referee, our first job is to keep everybody safe on the soccer field. That's our first really job when we step on a field, is to manage the game, make sure that the players are safe, make sure that there's a timely misconduct card that comes out, the hold, the push, the grab, the trip, the violent conduct. We all know what violent conduct is, the elbow to the head, the serious foul play, the coming across and taking out the legs, the straight-legged tackle.
Yeah.
Those we know as officials. And we had to clean that up. In years past, we had to clean some of those players up to give red cards or yellow cards to.
Yeah, and I'm glad they, that started in the 2002 World Cup, I think, when they're doing the cleats up, straight red.
Yep.
And a lot of reds popped out. Oh my word.
Yes.
It's hard to change your movement or that you've been doing for years. So to change, I'll give you an example. We have African leagues here, and Africans are known for cleats
Straight,
up.
yeah, straight,
They
double feet.
Yeah, that's just how they play. That's their
Right.
culture. That's how they play, and they're not giving that up.
No.
And so they would come to Phoenix College, and I always thought I picked up an African. I always get like 2 or 3. They're just a different player. You need that kind of physical toughness, but minus the 2-foot tackle.
Sure.
So there's this player that I picked up. His name's Abdul Manasari. Great player, great coach, by the way. I don't know if he coaches anymore, but he when we did our academies, great coach, great with kids. But he had the tendency of doing cleats up, and he wanted to play for me, like he wanted to start. And he met with my office, and he was in tears, just like wanted to play so bad. And I'm like Abdul, you're going to get a red card. We can't, And I'm like, I'm gonna start your next game. Stay on your feet.
And what happened, Dave?
First 2 minutes.
Oh, it's
2 feet, kills this kid, Chandler Gilbert.
And I got a red card.
Straight red, and you hear me on camera, and my assistant coach, Marty Flores, at the time.
Oh, yeah, I remember him.
Every pre-game dinner we've had, or pre-season dinner we would have every year, he'd play that video of that tackle, and you would hear me screaming, I told you! I knew it!
Right.
Oh, my gosh. And we had to play short the whole game, and we won somehow.
Oh, wow.
It was amazing. But, Abdul, stay on your feet, man.
Yeah, right.
Stay on your feet.
There you
But
go.
It's hard to change those kind of movements.
Right, or the mentality, right?
Yeah, and you're a PE teacher. Once you do something over and over again to get out of that.
It's tough. It's same thing with officiating. Some people just have the tendency of doing certain things on the field, the positioning or the movement or the fouls or misconducts,
Yeah. So, we'll take questions anytime, by the way.
Yes,
Okay.
Ryan. Anytime there's one.
Yeah, we do have a couple.
Go ahead.
They're both from Gilberto Gomez,
Okay.
and they're both for you, Mark.
Okay.
So the first one is, what was your favorite color shirt to wear as a referee?
Ooh, good question.
Oh, good question. I'm gonna have to go with I like the blue. Okay, I like my blue color. It's a nice color on the field. But again,
I have the blue.
Oh yeah, it depends on the color of the teams also. So if there's a blue team, we have to go to either yellow or black or red. But blue is my favorite color. Okay.
And how many colors?
There's 5 colors that we own.
All right.
Okay.
What are they?
Green, red, blue, black, and
Yellow.
Yellow. Yeah.
Yellow's the classic.
Yeah. The old
Bumblebee.
bumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what everybody calls it, Ryan. The bumblebee. Yeah. I don't like to wear that color anymore.
If you had to add a color, what color would it be?
Ooh.
That's a good one. Well, maybe a pink color. I seen a lot of all of a sudden, like in the Mexican leagues and championship leagues, they're coming out with pink. So
It's
like
it's
that.
it's
Or
supposed
fuchsia,
to calm
yeah.
people down.
yeah,
Fuchsia.
yeah. Is that
Calm people down. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Good thought.
Sheriff Joe would
would put them in pink?
pink because
Yeah.
it's supposed to calm him down.
Does that stuff, what is color science? Does that stuff actually work?
The reason McDonald's is bright yellow and all that is
It's
because you
'cause it
want
makes you
out right
hungry.
away. No, it's
No,
like in
yellow and
out.
red is the hungry. Those are the hungry colors. That's why so many restaurants are yellow and red. I always just think mustard and ketchup, but sure.
Okay, what's the other question, Ryan?
All right. They are, what do you think about VAR being part of the game?
I think it's excellent. I think it really has brought the referee attention of some serious controversial calls where they can go and like in hockey, like the ball goes in and out of play real quick. Fouls, that they can't see, or the different angles that they have.
It's teaching the game.
Absolutely.
That's number one.
Absolutely. It should have come in maybe 4 or 5 years earlier, okay? But now it's there, and it's there to stay.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I'm glad.
Me too.
I'm learning from it because it really gets you thinking about it. Like, oh my gosh, what is the offside rule? What is the offside rule now? Do we know what is it? It changes all the time.
Well, Law 11 still has the, the body positioning even is still on.
right.
Half my body is going to be offside. Half my body.
Okay.
It's when the ball is touched. And see, that's the most sometimes controversial because the ball could be touched 22 yards away, and the player, when the ball was touched, was even. And when he receives the ball, it looks like he's 5 or 6 yards offsides. Okay, so as an AR, you're taking the picture when the ball is touched. And that's why right now they're waiting also, and I think that's great for ARs are waiting to see
Let VAR deal with it.
if there's a goal scored or if it goes to a corner kick or a goal kick, then they're bringing up the flag. Okay, so to me, I still say if that person is in offside position and receives the ball or influences the play, to me the flag should come up automatically.
Saves the running and potential injury.
Right, running into the goalie.
Yeah.
Right, but that's what they're instructed to do, ARs right now.
Yeah. I like how it's now when they touch the ball a lot of the time, so they're not influencing the play, but they go, but they have the opportunity to get out.
Or gaining that advantage also.
Yeah. That's I like that a lot, especially teaching the game. So like I always want someone running off sides and being off sides when the ball is hit, and then get the heck out of the way and let the midfielder run through. So that's fun tactically. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So, could you force someone to be offsides? Like, is that a strategy that people play?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Absolutely. When the line moves up and the player doesn't move up with the line quick enough, that person's going to be in offside position. You can't be offside when you're on your side of the field. Okay?
Yeah.
So just,
okay.
You can't be offside if you're on your side of the field.
And it's two people, right?
Yes, the goalie and the last defender.
What if the goalie's not there?
Then that person's offside because there's only one defender.
So
right.
So if the keeper's completely out of the play,
And there's only one defender there, that
so
person.
they need two defenders.
That's correct.
That's a confusing one.
Oh, that's sometimes, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not following.
Yeah. No, you have to be a referee to follow that one.
So we talked about earlier about how the sideline and coaches' conduct towards referees, towards the game, and youth has gotten worse.
Yes, it has.
You've been in the game a long time. Explain to me how worse has it? How bad has it gotten? And how do we curb it?
How do you curb it? Well, right now it's as a referee, I can go up to the coach and give that coach a yellow card for his fans berating us, dissenting our decisions, which hopefully he will go over to his fans and say, relax on the decisions on what otherwise I'm going to get a red card and this game is terminated unless they have another adult.
Right.
Education, David. You have to educate players, parents, and coaches. It is one of the things that I've been trying to do. I did that with Cactus High School, Ironwood High School, with Jack Aldersitz, Tim Beck,
Ironwood.
Centennial, Kyle Pula, and they just wanted to understand the laws of high school soccer. So I went over and educated it, and then I went to some of the parents, and he brought some of the parents in to educate them.
I
That's
think
what we need
I
to
think
do.
when I get air conditioning in here or in our new podcast room, once we get settled in, and it's very comfortable and things are set up, I encourage you, if you want to get involved on that, you do a podcast.
My pleasure.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And we could bring in coaches all the time. I could have you just lead the discussion. We could
Sure.
take questions, because it's amazing how many people have contacted me on just everything. What do I need to do to get my kid technical? What environment should my kid? What club to join? I mean, people want information, and we need something like that. We need a podcast that's available to everybody about the game, especially when rules change.
Oh, sure. Now, Todd and Brandon and a couple of the SRAs are coming together and trying to mentor a lot of the young officials with some experienced officials, which I think is important to do.
We need to reward those officials, like money, like bonuses for just surviving in the game and dealing with all the crap they deal with.
Well, again, I also talked to a couple people that in New York, it's different than Arizona as far as pay. Now, again, we can talk about that also. You know, to me, pay should be a lot more higher.
It's going to have to be.
It has to. Because we have a shortage right now, Dave, of officials.
I would imagine.
In the state of Arizona, but all through the nation right now, there's a shortage of officials.
Of course. Why would you want to ref? Money's
not the object. It's my passion.
Right.
I still have a passion for what I do. I want to give back to my community, okay? And I still have the fitness to run a soccer game. And to me, that's the most important thing. And to manage the game where the spirit of the game, everybody likes what happened during, and there's no controversy. I only had one controversial game in my entire career, okay? 1990, the high school championship game.
Was that Marcos Nices and
Brophy?
Brophy.
Right. I still have that in my.
Really? What was the controversy?
The ball went underneath the crossbar, and I couldn't tell because it hit the extension pole and came straight down.
Oh.
And I thought it hit the.
I was at that game.
I thought it hit the crossbar.
It was right by Phoenix College. What's the name of that high school? Metro Tech.
Right. And it hit the crossbar and came straight down. I still couldn't tell you if that ball was in or out because all I heard was it hit the crossbar, but it really went in about this much after I saw the instant replay. Now, I wish I could have gone to the VAR.
Right. You did your job. I appreciate officials that call what they see, not what they think.
Right.
What you see.
True.
And that's why, for the ones that don't know, that was Greg Vanny,
right,
played at Marcos. Kenny Wright. I mean, that team was stacked.
Right, that was a good.
And Brophy had Derek Burnell, who Derek Burnell actually is helping me at PC mentor some kids. I get a lot of friends to be able to mentor kids to help them out. That was crazy.
It was.
And they did replay game. You knew that, right?
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know?
No.
They replayed the game.
No, oh, who won it? A tie?
No, Marcos won it.
Okay. They should have.
Yeah. Well, Greg was still fit.
Yeah.
So they did a replay game at Brophy.
Nice.
And it was like maybe 6-7 years ago. So they're much older.
Wow, that's
good. And it was kind of cool. They televised it and everything.
Oh, man, I wish I could have been the official for
that
one.
That would have been amazing. Yeah. You know what? They need to replay that game again. They didn't have the right crew there.
No,
I already know who the crew was.
Oh, I don't want to know.
That is a small world. So you were the official.
Yes, I was.
And all the big games were held at Metro Tech.
Yes, they were. And I did almost all 15 high school championship games in my day back then.
All right.
Yeah.
What was the last state championship game you've done?
Oh, I don't know. I left here in 2005, so I couldn't tell you.
Which two teams? You don't even know, huh?
No, I haven't a clue.
That's the only reason you survived in the game that long. You have to be able to forget, or you won't sleep.
Right, Dave. And I didn't sleep that night.
Well, well, they played the replay game.
That's great.
And which team shot it? That
was Marco scoring the goal.
okay. Well, they won the replay.
They
game.
ran the,
So, because it ended in a tie.
yes, it did.
Okay.
They both were co-champs.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they replayed it. It's so funny.
So you can replay like
No, they did it
game?
as they did it like. I mean, that was 1990.
did it for kicks.
Yeah, I mean, Greg Vanny was
Oh man.
just retired from professional soccer when he went and
Brought everybody
brought it back. Yeah,
brought
like
everybody together.
I'm still fit. I'm retired. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing such a great job at LA. Wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
smart move by him.
absolutely.
Smart move.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fun to watch. It's fun to watch all that happen, especially when Arizona's had such a huge impact. Remember the MLS game, championship game, I think 2 years ago, where Alan Chapman was the center referee. He's from Arizona. Greg Vanny is the coach of Mike Raboska, are both from Arizona.
Was Corey Rockwell also on the game?
I don't know.
I don't remember. Yeah. A lot of Arizona.
A lot of Arizonas.
right.
Even the players, De Leon's son
Their
was
sons were-
playing.
Right.
It was like 5 or 6 Arizonans that were playing that game. It was like crazy.
That's fun.
And-
It's great.
Full circle. You mentored the center referee of that game. You screwed Greg Vanny of a state championship in 1990. Isn't that crazy? You know,
I didn't try to screw anybody that day.
hey, you officiated indoor games for Leroy De Leon,
Oh, yes.
whose son played in that game. I mean, we're all connected in some
We all,
way.
yeah. Soccer is such a small community.
Yeah. So
Any other questions?
We do have one more from Gilberto Gomez.
Okay.
He was wondering if the player is injured, is he still offsides?
ooh,
It depends on if the ball touches him in an offside position.
oh,
Now, I could be standing, I could be injured and be left of the goal, and the shot could be taken, and it can go up in the right-hand corner, and that player is not an offside position.
that's good to know because, so when Phoenix College beat Yavapai in the final, and it was the first time we beat them in a playoff game at their place, and they were number 1 in the country, undefeated, and they were hosting nationals. This is in 2012, or no, 2014, and that exact thing happened, and I never researched it. I didn't even want to know. One of my players got hurt, was on the ground, staying. He was offside. He was in offsides position. We had a diagonal ball, and he wasn't in the play, but we scored and we won the game because it was a golden goal. It was overtime, and Mike Paleone and Hugh Bell all ran to the refs saying he was offsides. He was offside, and I never. I'm like, I'm just taking the win. I didn't want to know.
No, he never received the
he-
ball, never touched the ball, and then if you remove him from that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah, when you
We
said
won
that,
legally.
when you said that, I was like, offsides, an injured player to offsides. I thought you were gonna say like they bounced it off of him, like turned him into Scott Sterling and just scored that way. I was like, is that because that seems like the only way that could happen to me.
only if he touches the ball or hits him, he's in an offside position.
Well,
Okay.
seeing no other questions, I think our time is done. We got to do it again in AC, but I encourage that once I get air conditioning.
Oh, Dave.
I'm working on. I think this should be almost weekly, where I could have you come on, bring people to ask questions and really have that conversation. I think there needs it, and I can help set up your whole YouTube channel, make it all about officiating and all that stuff.
My pleasure.
It would be amazing because you have so much information and it needs to get out there.
Sure.
And it'd be useful. And I like to apologize for every time that you don't remember the times I've been mean to you. I'm sure.
You know why, Dave? Because I told you before, once we leave the soccer field and leave the pitch, the game is over for officials. Unless you really have controversial, decisions like the one I had back then. I lived with that for probably about 4 or 5 years. But after a while, my wife told me, she said, listen, it's just a game. And then when Anthony was born, it was over. Yeah. And, when Anthony was born in 95, that was more important than anything else. The game was just a game.
Right.
And that's why I leave the game off the field. The minute I walk off, the game is over. So.
And you're still teaching PE.
Yes, I'm at Desert Star. in the Avondale
Avondale.
Avondale School District. This is my 4th year over there. I coach the girls soccer team, the boys volleyball team, and I'm doing basketball this year coming up. So
You are staying busy.
I have the best job. I have the state-of-the-art gym. Everybody wants my gym, and
If you want me to ever come and represent Phoenix College and do a skills clinic for your soccer week, and I'm a PE teacher, so I'm fingerprinted and all that stuff.
Absolutely, that'd be great.
Once things settle down,
Yes.
I don't want to wear masks, so
Yeah,
when we
you
get to
know.
that point, I would love to come help you out.
Sure.
Just do a guest teacher of the day, and I'll spend a day with you.
Yes, teacher of the day.
Oh yeah, PE teacher. I was a PE teacher, and anytime I could have people come in and help, 'cause it's a long day on your feet. Those are long days. But thank you so much,
My
Mark Passiatore,
pleasure,
for
David.
being on.
My pleasure.
And thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to learn more or hear more of our podcast, you can have our daily podcast is Monday through Friday with more advice on youth soccer development for parents and coaches. You can find us on iHeartRadio, Google Play, iTunes, or wherever else podcasts are found, or go to coachcameron.com for direct access to our content. And we'll see you guys next Sunday, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.